YAP session number 7. Este is my 7th one. I'm gonna do it all in English because I want to upload it to YouTube. So it's gonna be in English. Let's see. It's been 3 days since something in me, you could say, changed. I don't know what it is, but something in me clicked, and I've just been going these 3 days on everything, honestly, everything I've wanted, and I hope to make it a week. YAP sessions, I think I'll be weekly, because daily I realized I just ended up talking about everything too quick. So yeah, they're gonna be weekly from now on, but let's see if I upload more. This is gonna be the first one I upload. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I want to start off reading a poem from Songs of Experience, Songs of Innocence and of Experience by W. Blake. This is my favorite poem from the book. I admit I have not read them all yet. I think they're not much, but I haven't gotten to reading them all. It has a lot of, you would say, religious points of views and religious debates inside the poems, and many of them assuring, some of them against religions or religion, in my opinion, but some other are very worshipping, and kind of like the one I'm about to read. But it's funny how I stumbled into this. It's really an act of God, I say, because I was literally just looking for another book to read, and my eye crossed this book, and I was like, oh, it looks nice. I open it, I see it's about poems. I'm like, oh, I'll take it. Didn't even know what it was about. I just took it, and when I open it, I come to see that it has a lot about God, and I found it in a point where I was a bit lost, if you might say that. I was not in my best place with God. I wasn't following Him as much as I should. I was kind of straying away. For certain problems, I'll talk about maybe in another video. But this poem I like is because it really brought me closer to Him, and I feel like this me now in a certain way. And the other poem I'll read next week, or should I? I'm gonna read these videos. I gotta make them better because at this point someone's just gonna get tired. But it's called The Little Boy Found. It goes, the little boy lost in a lonely fen, led by a wandering light, began to cry. But God ever nigh appeared like his father in white. He kissed the child and by the hand led into his mother brought. When sorrow failed, through the lonely dale, her little boy weeping sought. There's not really much to analyze about the book. You could say led by the wandering light. You could say it's devil or temptation. And I really relate to this book. I really related to it at that certain point. I was really going down a bad path, in my opinion. I was trying to give up on a lot of my life. A lot in my life, you could say, in my life, I was giving up on my life and things I wanted. And this poem really brought me back. I started going more to church. I confessed my sins. I started praying more, and it really helped. So yeah, if you're a religious person, I don't know if it's Catholic or Protestant. I'm not Catholic, but at the end of the day, if you're a Christian, great book, I recommend. Today I finished another book. Today, or yesterday I might say, I finished this book. Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. Great fucking book. I'm not supposed to speak so bad in this video, so I'm sorry. But great book. I don't even know where to start. Long book. This is the longest book I've read up until now. I did read one longer, I think, when I was in school. Maybe not longer, but as long. but I don't really particularly remember. I want to reread it. But this was the longest book I've read up till now, and it's been the longest book I've read in my reading journey, which started when? In March, you could say April, which was another point in my life where things weren't going really well. Yeah, I think books saved me in a sense. More on that some other time. I want to talk specifically about this book and something you could call fate. I feel like fate is something heavily, you could say, portrayed in the book. The main character, Kafka, has this curse placed by his father, and this curse is basically like fate. Everything that the curse says ends up happening in the book, more or less. And to a certain extent, what I see in the book is that you allow fate to happen if you believe it's fate. And what I say by that, in the book, Kafka, the curse is basically he's gonna kill his dad, he's gonna sleep with his mother, he's gonna sleep with his sister, and these things end up happening because Kafka is so in it of himself that this is gonna happen. He's so scared of it that he ends up doing him in a way to defeat the curse, I believe is what he was trying to do, but he ends up proving it. So he didn't really defeat it, he just gave into it. And I believe what I took away from that is that fate is whatever you make it out to be. If you believe your fate is to, let's say, be poor, lonely, and die a horrible death, that's what's gonna happen. Because you're gonna fear so much that that's what's gonna happen. On the contrary, if you believe your fate is you're gonna get this, you're gonna get all the riches, you're gonna, I don't know, achieve all your dreams. I feel like it might not happen, but you're sure as hell gonna be a lot closer if you do believe that is your fate. And that's why I say I believe fate is whatever we allow it to be. And on a different note, I'm gonna get into that later. I'm gonna finish talking to the book. Let me see if there's any, I don't remember if there's any quote that I would like to talk about. Let me search for it. I don't know. This book, quotes like not much you can do about it. Things happen. You just have to hang in there. I feel like this book really just talks about the nuances of life, like the basic things, but in a way that it's life. You know, things happen, and I feel like it talked about a lot about the past. For example, this verse, this line: "Until you go where you're going, don't ever look back." I feel like that we focus, us as human beings, nostalgia or simply regrets. We look too much to the past and to what has happened in our life, and that is not to say that we shouldn't look back. We shouldn't look back, but we shouldn't stay stuck on it. Okay, what happened in the past happened. Let's learn from it if there's anything we can learn from it, and move forward. And if it's nostalgia, for example, I feel like that applies to regrets, what I just said. But if it's nostalgia, for example, okay, great, that was a very fun time in your life, but more fun times are gonna come. And I feel like past and future correlate, and I feel like, that's something I want to talk about as well. Past and future correlate, and they go hand in hand, and that's how you live in your present. You gotta have a bit of both in your life, but not focus too much on one, because now you'll never live to your full extent. You'll never be in your present. You're either too focused on your future and what you want then that you won't even realize what's going on around you right now, or you're too focused in your past regretting and you won't focus what's going on right now. So I want to talk about something. Let me search for the chapter. It's right here, and it's the soldiers. I want to talk about the soldiers here, and how I viewed them. In this book, you could say the forest in which Kafka was in his later part, was a metaphor for life. and he stumbles upon these two soldiers waiting at the entrance, and these soldiers then lead Kafka. Nakata's another. I'll get into him next week. But Kafka is this. He's led to this town, small town where he's left to figure out some things in the past, some things he had to clear up. That's not what's important right now. I want to talk about the soldiers, and since life is a forest, these soldiers, you could say, are us, where we're all going through this sort of war called life, and we're waging war on it, and we are the soldiers. I don't know if I can explain that well, but that's basically what I said. Are we all just soldiers going through what could be seen as the war of life? And I feel like those soldiers as well represent past and future, and Kafka is the present. And we can see this by one of the soldiers constantly look forward, never looks back, and the other soldier looks back and talks to Kafka. We can see, we're going too fast for you. The brawny soldier finally turns around. No, I'm fine, I tell him. You're young and look as if you're in good shape. The tall one comments without looking around. We can see how one looks back, the brawny one, and the tall one does not look back. And the only time they look at the same place is when they get to where they want to be. And I put here past and future coincide, looking both at Kafka. And I feel like that's at least what I got from it. They both, for you to live in the present, you gotta have a bit of both, and you gotta both have present and future. You can't have none of them. You gotta have both, but you can't have both of them in abundance or in overabundance. That's a chapter I wanted to talk about. I feel like I didn't prepare. I just wanted to do this, so I want to talk about the book of it. I'll keep talking about it because it was a great book. I feel like I have to reread it at some point in my life. Not right now, obviously. I just finished reading it, but it was a great book. I'm currently reading another book. We'll talk about that as well. And yeah, that's a bit of what I want to talk about the book. I'll keep talking about more, as I said. But that's the main chapter I want to talk about. And now I'm gonna go back to the point of fate the book talked about. As I was saying, fate is whatever we want it to be. And I say that, and I do believe that. But me, as a Christian, a Catholic, we obviously think, oh, it's all in God's hands. God has control over it. And that's something that blocks me, you know? I don't know. It's the aspect of free will, while still thinking it's in God's hands. So, do I have free will or not? And it's something I've wrestled with in my mind these past couple of months. And from time to time it pops into my head, and I'm not sure. I'm still not sure. But I feel like my interpretation of it is God has two paths for you, and you pick which one. And obviously, I know free will at the end of the day comes down to your two paths are either with God or without God. And if you pick Him, you're gonna obviously maybe not live a good life, but you're gonna live the good path or the correct path. Because we know just because you follow God does not mean you're gonna have an easy life, does not mean everything's gonna go good. If anything, with the devil is more probable that things go good in your life, because we as Catholic Christians, we don't look for good in this life. We look for good in the next one. And not next life as in reincarnation, next life and eternal life. But yeah, I feel like there's two paths, and one path's either with God and the other one's without it. And I feel like that's the only free will we have. because I feel once you choose one of those two paths, I'm not necessarily saying if you choose one, you're stuck to that path. You can always switch between them. There's always this crossroad between them, if you could say. At least that's what I believe. But once you choose those paths, there's certain things that you don't have control over that God has control over, and that's a great thing to do. So at the end of the day, you just gotta choose God, in my opinion, and obviously, well, up to you. But that's what I've been thinking about wrestling. If anyone stumbles upon this video and has any other opinion on what free will is and its correlation to God is, then feel free to comment. But that's more or less my interpretation of free will, and I feel like free will only comes in your life with God or your life without it. And at this point in my life, I'm gonna go to church soon. Actually, it's in 1 hour. But I've been trying to get closer to God. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. Doesn't mean I will be perfect. Only person that was perfect was Jesus Christ, and we should all strive to be like Him. But we're humans at the end of the day. We're not. I wish I could be a fraction of what Jesus Christ was, but yeah, that's my interpretation of free will. I feel like for next video, I gotta mind map this or something, because I feel like I went off on too many branches. I feel like at the end of the day, I didn't get out all my ideas clearly. But yeah, I'm gonna look at my journal, because if I'm not mistaken, I did touch on the topic of God and free will. Let me check. Well, I wasn't able to find it, unfortunately. But anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I'm all about this. Try to cut a bit of the other video when I was just searching. But yeah, today was a good day for me, at least. I hope the week goes as well. I'm scared of things are going good. So I'm scared of, a bump in the road that might just, because I give up. And there's just a little rock or a little bump. So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna do it next week. I want to talk more about the book. I feel like there's a lot of things that I gotta talk about from Kafka on the Shore. But yeah, that's it. Peace out. YAP session number 7.